the best way to find solid ground is to learn how to dance on a moving floor. That probably sounds a little strange, doesn't it? We spend so much of our lives searching for stability, for that one unshakable spot where we can finally build our home and rest. But what if I told you that true peace, especially as we journey through our later years, isn't found in holding on tighter, but in learning to let go with grace? My name is Kai, and for many years, I've studied the wisdom of ancient texts. But my greatest teachings have come from simply living, from watching the seasons change, and from speaking with people just like you. I want to share a thought with you today, one that has brought profound comfort to many. It's the idea that the world is like a river, in constant, beautiful flow. To resist its current is to invite a struggle that can never be won. Have you ever felt the ground shift beneath your feet? Perhaps it was a change in your career, a new technology that seemed to leave you behind, or even a shift in the way your own family communicates. That feeling of being stranded while the world rushes on, it's a lonely one. We can be tempted to plant our feet firmly, to clench our fists and say, "No, I will not be moved." But the river doesn't stop. It simply flows around us, and soon we find ourselves on a very small, very isolated island. I remember a dear friend of mine, let's call him Arthur. Arthur was a master craftsman, a carpenter who could make wood sing. For 50 years, he used the same set of hand tools his father had given him. When his son brought him a new set of power tools, designed to make his work easier and less strenuous on his aging hands, Arthur refused. "This is not the way it's done," he'd say. "There's no soul in it." He resisted the change, and slowly, his work became more difficult. His hands ached, his orders backed up, and the joy he once found in his craft began to fade. He was fighting the current dot. Imagine this for a moment. Think of a mighty oak tree, centuries old, strong and unyielding. It stands as a testament to endurance. But when the hurricane comes, which is more likely to survive? The rigid oak that can be uprooted, or the slender bamboo that bends with the wind, almost to the ground, only to spring back up when the storm passes? Ancient wisdom from across the world tells us this same story. Our minds, they say, are not fixed blocks of stone. They are more like clay, capable of being reshaped and remolded throughout our entire lives. Modern science has a name for this now. They call it neuroplasticity, but it's a truth monks and sages have known for millennia. Every time you try a new recipe, learn a simple phrase in a new language, or even figure out how to video call your grandchildren, you are not just learning a new skill. You are rewiring your brain. You are keeping your mind supple, flexible, youthful. Embracing change doesn't mean you have to become a tech guru or abandon the traditions you hold dear. Not at all. It's about the posture of your heart. It's about meeting the new with curiosity instead of fear. It's about asking, what can I learn from this? Instead of declaring, this is not for me. What if the point isn't to fight the current, but to learn how to build a better raft, or even just to enjoy the journey downstream? Whether it's embracing new technologies that can connect us, or new ideas that can challenge us, this willingness to flow with life keeps our minds sharp and makes life itself an exciting adventure. The river is moving, my friends. We can either exhaust ourselves fighting it, or we can learn to steer. The choice, as always, is ours. Asterisk, asterisk. This instrument can be filled with the most beautiful music, but only if it is cared for. Leave it in the damp, and the wood will warp. Neglect it, and it will crack. The music is always there, waiting, but the instrument must be sound. Hello again, my friends. We are all instruments, are we not? Each one of us is a vessel capable of holding immense joy, wisdom, and love. Our body is the temple that houses our spirit, the cherished instrument through which we play the music of our lives. Today, I want to talk about how we care for this precious vessel, especially as it ages. The second path to a graceful journey is this: we must nourish the vessel of our body now. When you hear the words physical health or exercise, what comes to mind? For many, it's images of grueling workouts, heavy weights, and exhausting runs. It sounds like a chore, another demand on our time and energy. But what if we thought about it differently? What if movement wasn't a punishment, but a form of prayer? The ancients had a concept they called ki, which means life force or vital energy. They believed this energy flows through us like a river. When the river flows freely, we are healthy, vibrant. When it is blocked or stagnant, we feel sluggish, achy, and unwell. The simple, gentle movements they practiced were not about building muscle. They were about encouraging this river of energy to flow. Have you ever just stood outside in the morning and stretched your arms to the sky, feeling the sun on your face? That's it. That's the beginning. It is a simple act of honoring your body. You don't need a gym membership to do this. Your temple is wherever you are. I once knew a woman named Eleanor. She was 72 and had lived with stiff, aching joints for years. She believed her days of activity were long behind her. Her world had become very small, from her bed to her chair and back again. One day, her granddaughter showed her a simple Qigong video online. It was just an old master, standing in a park, slowly, gracefully, moving his hands as if he were parting clouds or pulling silk from the air. Eleanor scoffed at first. "What good can that possibly do?" she said, but she was lonely, so she tried it. For just 5 minutes a day, she stood and followed along, moving her hands, breathing deeply. At first, she felt foolish, but then, a week later, she noticed she could open a jam jar that had been stuck for days. A month later, she walked to the end of her garden to see the roses, something she hadn't done in 2 years. She wasn't exercising, she was unblocking her river. She was tending to her instrument, and the music started to play again. Imagine, your body has been speaking to you for years, in the quiet language of aches, stiffness, and fatigue. What has it been trying to tell you? Maybe it's not asking for a marathon. Maybe it's asking for a slow, mindful walk. Maybe it's asking you to dance in the kitchen to a song you loved 50 years ago. Maybe it's just asking you to breathe deeply and intentionally for a few moments each day. Caring for this vessel isn't a competition. It's a conversation. It's about listening with love and responding with kindness. Simple acts, a gentle walk, a mindful stretch, even dancing like no one is watching, are profound offerings of gratitude to the vessel that has carried you through this entire, incredible life. Tend to your instrument, my friends. The world is waiting to hear your music. Your mind will always find what it is looking for. If you are searching for pebbles, you will find pebbles. If you are searching for gems, you will find gems. The amazing thing is, sometimes they are the very same stone. Peace be with you. My friends, today I want to talk about the most powerful tool you possess for changing your entire world without taking a single step. It's the third path we'll explore on our journey, and it is this: you must cultivate a garden of gratitude. Think of your mind as a garden. Every single day, things grow there. There are flowers, but there are also weeds. The weeds are the worries, the frustrations, the what-ifs, the things that didn't go right. The flowers are the moments of peace, the small kindnesses, the things that make you smile. Now, here's the question: which ones do you water? So often, without even realizing it, we spend our days tending to the weeds. We replay that frustrating phone call. We worry about tomorrow's appointment. We notice the one car that cut us off in traffic, but not the 50 that didn't. We water the weeds, and naturally, they grow, choking out the light and color until the whole garden looks gray and overgrown. Have you ever felt that way? Like your mind is just a tangle of worries? Gratitude is the simple, profound act of consciously watering the flowers. It is the practice of actively searching for the good. It doesn't mean ignoring the weeds. Life will always have challenges. It simply means you refuse to let them be the only thing you see. I had a neighbor once, a man named George. He was a good man, but he was perpetually discontent. His pension wasn't quite enough. His children didn't call as often as he'd like, and his roof always seemed to need repairing. His garden was full of weeds, and he watered them faithfully every morning with his complaints. A friend suggested a simple practice to him. Every night, before sleeping, he was to write down 3 good things that happened that day. Just 3. George resisted. What good things? He grumbled. My toast burned this morning. But he agreed to try. The first day, it was a struggle. He wrote: 1. The mail came on time. 2. The coffee wasn't burnt. 3. The cat didn't scratch the furniture. He felt silly, but he kept at it. Slowly, something began to shift. On the 4th day, he wrote: I saw a cardinal at the bird feeder. A week later, a neighbor I haven't spoken to in years smiled and said hello. A month in, his list read: 1. I truly tasted my morning coffee, and it was delicious. 2. I felt the warmth of the sun on my chair for 10 minutes. 3. My daughter called, and I was so focused on listening to her voice that I forgot to be annoyed that she hadn't called sooner. Do you see what happened? George didn't change his life. He changed the lens through which he saw it. He started actively searching for the gems instead of the pebbles. His brain, like a loyal servant, began pointing them out everywhere. He was watering the flowers, and his entire garden began to bloom. This isn't a new idea. It's ancient wisdom. Sages have taught for thousands of years that a joyful heart is not the result of having everything we want, but of appreciating everything we have. So I offer this gentle challenge to you. What flowers are in your garden today, right now? Perhaps it is the comfort of the chair you're sitting in. Perhaps it is the technology that allows you to watch this video and connect with ideas. Perhaps it is the simple, miraculous fact of your own breath moving in and out. A steady rhythm of life that has been with you since the moment you were born. You don't have to wait for the grand, spectacular moments of joy. There is a universe of beauty in the small, the quiet, the overlooked. Start tending your garden. Water the flowers. You may be astonished at how quickly and beautifully it grows. Asterisk, asterisk, imagine trying to walk up a beautiful mountain path, but with a backpack filled with stones. With every step, you feel the weight. You can't fully enjoy the scent of the pines or the warmth of the sun because the straps are digging into your shoulders. The strange thing is, you packed the bag yourself, and you are the only one who can choose to set it down. Greetings, my friends. Many of the burdens we carry are not physical, but they are just as heavy. They are the stones of yesterday, the regrets, the resentments, the words we wish we hadn't said, or the words we wish we had. This brings us to the fourth path on our journey, and it is a crucial one. We must release the ghosts of yesterday. Driving a car is a useful metaphor. You need a rearview mirror. It's important to glance at it, to learn from where you've been. But what would happen if you tried to drive forward while staring only into that tiny mirror? You would crash. It's inevitable. Yet, so many of us try to navigate the present moment while staring intently at the past. We relive old hurts, re-argue ancient fights, and re-feel the sting of past failures. We are driving with our eyes fixed on the rearview mirror. Who are the ghosts you travel with? Is it the ghost of a career that took a wrong turn? The ghost of a friendship that ended badly? The ghost of a mistake you made as a parent or a child, one for which you can't seem to forgive yourself? These ghosts are heavy companions. They whisper to us that we are not good enough, that the past defines us, and that the future is just a continuation of yesterday. I knew a man, a quiet and kind man, who had not spoken to his brother in 30 years. The original argument over a small loan had been long forgotten. What remained was the story of the argument. It was a heavy stone he carried every single day. His brother became a ghost in his house, a ghost at holiday tables, a ghost in every family photo. One day, his health took a turn, and he was faced with his own mortality. He looked at me and said, "Kai, I am so tired of being angry. I don't even remember why I started." He finally made the call. There were tears. There was no grand apology, no rehashing of the 30-year-old problem. There was only the sound of his brother's voice, older now, saying, "I've missed you." In that moment, the man set down a stone he had been carrying for half his life. And for the first time in years, he felt light. He had let the ghost go, releasing. The past is not about saying what happened was okay. It's not about condoning a hurt or forgetting a lesson. It is about making a conscious choice to no longer allow the past to consume the energy of your present. Forgiveness, both of others and of ourselves, isn't a gift you give to the person who hurt you. It's a gift you give to yourself. It is the key that unlocks your own prison. So I ask you, gently, to look inside. What stones are in your backpack? Whose forgiveness are you withholding, including your own? Imagine, just for a moment, who you would be without that story. Who would you be if you woke up tomorrow and the slate was clean? Not because the past didn't happen, but because you've decided it no longer gets to be the main character in your story today. The present moment is the only place life ever truly happens. It is fresh, new, and full of possibility. But you can only embrace it with both arms if you are willing to set down what you are carrying. Release the ghosts. Let them be at peace so that you can be too. A single piece of charcoal on its own cannot hold its fire for long. It cools quickly, its inner light fading to grey. But when you gather many pieces together, they share their warmth. They glow with a heat and light that a single piece could never hope to achieve on its own. They keep each other burning brightly. Greetings, my friends. We are, in many ways, just like this. We each have our own inner light, our own warmth. But to truly thrive, to keep that light from fading, we need each other. This brings us to a simple, yet profoundly important path on our journey. We must seek the warmth of fellowship. As we get older, our world can sometimes begin to shrink. The bustling energy of a full-time career fades. Children grow up and move away to build their own lives. And sometimes, we lose dear friends who have walked beside us for decades. it can become easier and easier to stay within our own four walls. The silence can become a familiar companion. But while solitude can be peaceful, isolation is a cold and heavy blanket. Ancient wisdom and modern science agree on this completely. Loneliness is detrimental to the soul and to the body. Think of it this way: a single tree, standing alone in a field, bears the full force of every storm. Its roots must hold on with all their might. But in a forest, the trees protect each other. Their branches interlace, breaking the wind. Their roots intertwine beneath the soil, creating a vast, supportive network that makes the entire forest stronger than any single tree. We are meant to be a forest. I remember a woman from a meditation class one once led. Her name was Helen. After her husband passed away, she told me she felt like she had become invisible. She would go days without speaking to another person. Her motivation dwindled, and even her physical health began to decline. She said, "Kai, it feels like the color has drained from my world." She was a solitary ember, slowly growing cold. One day, I suggested she simply visit the local library. Not to check out a book, but just to sit and read in a room full of other people. She was hesitant, but she went. The next week, she told me she had exchanged a few words with the librarian about a novel. The week after, she recognized another regular visitor, and they shared a smile. It was a tiny spark. Soon, she joined the library's knitting circle. She hadn't knitted in 30 years. She mostly just listened to the other women talk, their needles clicking like a gentle rain, their stories weaving a warm blanket of community around her. Slowly, Helen's color started to return. She was sharing her warmth, and in return, the fellowship was keeping her own light bright. She wasn't just knitting a scarf, she was reweaving the fabric of her life. When was the last time you shared a simple, uncomplicated moment with another person? Not for any grand purpose, but just for the sake of connection itself. When did you last share a story, or more importantly, truly listen to one? Seeking fellowship doesn't have to be some grand, intimidating event. It can be a phone call to an old friend. It can be joining a book club, a walking group, or a volunteer organization. It can be as simple as smiling at the person who checks out your groceries and asking how their day is going. It's about making small, consistent efforts to push back against the tide of isolation. It's about adding your piece of charcoal to the fire. You have a lifetime of stories, wisdom, and experiences that are unique to you. Your light is meant to be shared. And there are others out there who are waiting for your warmth, just as you are waiting for theirs. Let us not be solitary embers. Let us be a glowing fire. Together, asterisk, asterisk, we spend so much of our lives tending to the world out here. We cultivate our relationships, our homes, our finances. We pour our energy into the garden of the external world. But what about the world in here? There is a landscape inside of you just as vast and real as the one outside. And if we never open the door, if we never tend to what's within, the most beautiful garden in the world cannot bring us peace. Hello again, my friends. We've talked about caring for the body, about embracing change, and seeking fellowship, but none of it can be fully enjoyed if the place we live inside is in turmoil. This leads us to our sixth path, one that is often overlooked in the busyness of life. We must tend to the inner landscape. What does the phrase mental health mean to you? For many in our generation, it was a topic whispered about, or not spoken of at all. It was often mistaken for a lack of character or willpower. But we know better now. Your mind is not separate from your body. It is a part of your whole being. To neglect your mental and emotional well-being is like tending to the leaves of a plant while ignoring its roots. Imagine your inner world is a house. Your thoughts, emotions, and memories are the furniture, the pictures on the wall, the sounds within its rooms. Is your house a place you enjoy being? Or are there rooms you keep locked? Rooms cluttered with old anxieties or sorrows? Is there a constant, stressful noise in the background? Or is there space for quiet? Tending to this inner landscape isn't about forcing yourself to just be happy or to paper over cracks in the wall with positive thinking. That is like trying to hide clutter by throwing a sheet over it. True inner care is quieter. It is the brave and gentle work of opening the door, turning on the light, and simply looking at what is there without judgment. I once spoke with a gentleman, a retired executive named Frank. He had been successful his whole life by being tough, by pushing through problems, by never showing weakness. But in the quiet of his retirement, a profound anxiety began to surface. He felt a constant, nameless dread. He tried to ignore it, to busy himself with projects, to push it down. He was trying to fight the intruder in his own house. But the more he fought, the louder the noise became. His journey began not with a fight, but with a surrender. He learned to simply sit in stillness for a few minutes each day. His goal was not to silence his anxious thoughts, but to simply watch them, like clouds passing in the sky. He learned to observe them without grabbing onto them. Anxiety is visiting me today, he would learn to say, instead of I am anxious, do. You see the subtle but powerful difference. He stopped identifying with the storm and became the sky that holds the storm. He wasn't ignoring the clutter in his room. He was simply sitting with it long enough to see it for what it was. Furniture that could be aired out, repaired, or even let go of. This practice of mindful awareness allowed him to create a little space, a little breathing room in his own mind. What is the weather like in your mind today? Is it stormy, cloudy, or clear? You don't have to change it. Just notice. When was the last time you allowed yourself to sit in quiet stillness? Without the television, without a book, without a task, and just be present in your own inner home. Tending to this landscape might mean seeking conversation with a trusted friend or a professional counselor. It might mean journaling your thoughts to get them out of your head and onto paper. Or it might mean cultivating simple moments of quiet, mindful presence. It is the gentle, courageous work of getting to know yourself and offering yourself the same care and compassion you would offer to a dear friend. Because the peace we seek in the world must first be discovered within our own heart. Inside this apple is the sweetness of the sun, the nourishment of the rain, the strength of the earth, and the patience of a tree that stood through all the seasons. It is a gift delivered in a beautiful package. But if we eat it while thinking of 100 other things, we taste nothing but our own distraction. Peace be with you, my friends. We do it several times a day, often without a second thought. But the simple act of eating holds a profound opportunity for nourishment that goes far beyond the physical. This brings us to our seventh path, a practice that can transform a daily routine into a moment of grace. We must find the sacred in our daily bread. In our modern world, we've become disconnected from our food. We eat in the car, in front of the television, while scrolling through our phones. Food has become fuel, a task to be completed. But in all ancient traditions, sharing a meal was a form of communion. The food itself was seen as a blessing, a deep connection between our own life and the life of the world around us. What would it mean to reclaim that connection? To see your plate not just as a collection of ingredients, but as the final chapter of a long and beautiful story. Think about the journey of a single piece of bread. Before it was bread, it was flour. Before it was flour, it was a grain of wheat. That grain had to be planted in the soil, watered by the clouds, and ripened by the sun. It was harvested by a farmer, transported by a driver, and baked by a baker. An entire universe of effort and energy is present in that one slice of toast. When you see it that way, a simple breakfast becomes something of a miracle. I remember when I first began this practice myself. My mind was always rushing ahead to the next task, the next duty. I ate quickly, my mind already solving a problem that had nothing to do with the food in front of me. As an experiment, I decided to eat one meal a day in total silence, with no distractions. Just me and my food. The first few days were maddening. My mind fidgeted and squirmed. But then, I began to notice things. I noticed the steam rising from the bowl of soup, carrying its aroma. I noticed the different textures in a simple salad, the crispness of the lettuce, the softness of a tomato. For the first time in years, I truly tasted my food. I discovered that when I ate this way, I was satisfied with less. My digestion even improved. I wasn't just feeding my body, I was nourishing my attention, my very presence. You don't have to eat every meal like a silent monk to begin this practice. It starts with a single, conscious bite. Before you eat, just take a moment. Look at your plate, see the colors, the shapes. Consider the journey it took to get to you. Then, as you take the first bite, do so with your full attention. What does it taste like? What is the texture? Is it warm or cool? Salty or sweet? Try to follow that single bite all the way through. This isn't about judging your food or following a strict diet. It is about honoring it. It is an act of gratitude for the earth that provides for us and for the body that sustains us. When you eat with this kind of mindful attention, you are doing more than just consuming calories. You are telling your body, you are worthy of my full, loving attention. You are telling the world, I am grateful for this gift of life, so I invite you to try it. Just for one meal, or even for one bite. Put down your phone, turn off the television, and come home to your plate. Find the sacred in your daily bread. You may find that it nourishes you in ways you never expected. Asterisk, asterisk, look at this water. It is agitated, cloudy, you cannot see through it. If I try to force the sand to settle, I only stir it up more. But if I just let it be, if I allow it to rest, it clears all on its own. Your mind is just like this. It is not something to be wrestled with or forced into submission. Peace is not something you must build. It is something you allow to return. This brings us to the eighth and final path, the foundation upon which all the others are built. We must learn to still the restless mind. We live in a world that celebrates doing. We are always rushing, planning, remembering, worrying. Our minds are like a busy marketplace, with thoughts shouting for our attention from every direction. Even in our quiet moments, the chatter continues. This constant internal noise is exhausting. It is the source of so much of our anxiety and stress. We long for a moment of quiet, a moment of peace. But what if I told you that peace is already here? It is the silent, spacious sky that is always present behind the busy clouds of our thoughts. Stillness is not about getting rid of the clouds. It's about remembering the sky. For many years, people have called this practice meditation. a word that can feel intimidating or foreign. But let's set that word aside. Think of it simply as a moment of rest, a moment to let the jar of water become still. I would like to guide you through a very simple moment of this stillness, right here, right now. There's nothing you need to do, no special way to be. Just for a moment, find a comfortable posture in your chair. You don't have to close your eyes unless you want to. Now, simply bring your attention to your own breath. Don't change it, don't force it, just notice it. Notice the feeling of the air entering your body and the feeling of it leaving. Your mind will wander. That is what minds do. It will pull you into a memory from yesterday or a to-do list for tomorrow. When you notice this has happened, and you will just gently, without any judgment, guide your attention back to the feeling of your breath, in and out. Each time you guide your attention back, it is like a gentle repetition, a quiet strengthening of the muscle of presence. Let's just sit with this for a few more seconds. And now, just let that go. What did you notice? Perhaps you noticed the constant chatter. Perhaps you found a moment of quiet. Whatever you experienced was perfectly okay. The goal was not to achieve a state of perfect calm. The goal was simply to show up, to be present with yourself for a moment. That is the practice that is stilling the restless mind. This simple act, practiced for just a few minutes each day, can change everything. It allows you to see that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who is aware of your thoughts. This little bit of space it creates is the birthplace of freedom. It's in this space that you find the strength to release the ghosts of yesterday, the clarity to embrace change, and the peace to feel gratitude for the present moment. All the paths we have walked, together nourishing the body, seeking fellowship, finding the sacred in our food, they all become richer and more meaningful when we approach them from this place of inner stillness. The world will always be busy. The jar will always get shaken. But now you know that you don't have to fight it. You know that within you is a place of deep stillness, a quiet sky that is always waiting. All you have to do is remember to pause, to breathe, and to let the waters clear. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Be well and be at peace.